the ups and downs of the president. How is it one day the president is totally down, shuffling off stage, can't walk the full route overseas, and then is suddenly able to just be jacked up?
That right now.
He went after Biden's border, but he also said something that broke a lot of news over the weekend. He said that he wants President Biden to take a drug test before the debate in about 2.5 weeks. He said, I'll take one. He needs to take one, he said.
They want to test Joe Biden for drugs? You know what this is, right? Well, I'll tell you what it isn't. It's not about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the president of a country with a booming economy. And yes, Joe Biden may shuffle. And yes, he can't compete with Simone Biles in the single beam gymnastics competition. But compared to Tiny Fingers, Joe Biden is Stephen Hawking.
So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark.
Fox and the MAGA GOP, they know the truth, and they just can't handle it. Their guy stumbles over words, phrases, and concepts to such a degree that I guarantee you he will not debate later this month. He can't afford to. We'll get to that later.
He wants President Biden to take a drug test.
This all started at the State of the Union, at the peak of the MAGA attack on President Biden's cognitive abilities, when people like Thumbface and Copy Boy here were predicting Joe Biden would fail. But that didn't happen. Biden crushed it. And what was so embarrassing for the Republicans is that this campaign that Biden is not all there, well, it completely backfired.
All of a sudden, this guy is like amped, on speed or something.
Let's say a very different Joe Biden. I might call
90% of the time, I have no idea.
It's actually
what
hilarious for a couple of reasons.
about.
If it were true that a drug could make someone seem like they were a dutiful, hardworking servant of the American people, you think they'd give Tiny Fingers a pill or two. The truth is, however, there is no cure for dementia. No pills, caffeine, or Diet Coke can fix this.
Voices of famed evangelical.
Or this.
I am the political prisoner of a failing nation. Legal and you just. I moved on her like a bitch. Never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late.
Or this.
These are sick people, and I hope the military. He's going to vote for Biden. I don't think so. I think it would be suicide before Biden, right?
And especially this.
By the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
But one more time for the record. Joe Biden had a stutter as a child, and because of that, he's always spoken deliberately and authoritatively. It's how you stay in public service for half a century. It's how people come to view you with great sincerity and respect.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation.
Trump, on the other hand, speaks like a jungle monkey who inhaled bleach products and fell out of a tree.
Injection inside or.
But watching Fox and Friendless BS their tribe with this totally groundless speculation tells you something about their guy and their zigzag logic. One day Biden is mentally ill and incapable of a coherent thought, and the next day he's a combination of Ken Jennings and Barry Bonds.
Answer there.
They know Trump is slipping and sliding like a fat man on an icy parking lot, and they have no idea what to do. And maybe, just maybe, they're worried what would happen were he to gain power again.
Iceberg, right ahead!
It's been obvious for a while that Tiny Fingers is being used by the GOP to bolster their fading plurality. They've won the popular vote in a presidential election once in 36 years because they lost their way. Preaching small government didn't work, so they went into attack mode. First, the racist attack on Obama's birthplace.
I assumed that he was born in the United States, meaning in Hawaii. I assumed that. The more I go into it, the more suspect it is.
Then the BS attack on Hillary Clinton, where the GOP ran 3 full-scale investigations, Whitewater, Benghazi, and the emails, and came up with squat. And now the irony of attacking Biden's mental acuity while nominating a guy who is the exact opposite of everything Republicans once defended? Well, it's embarrassing. Republicans are now a cult.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
They give trillion-dollar tax cuts to corporations while planning to strip away Medicare and Social Security.
It will be my objective to phase out Social Security, to pull it up by the roots and get rid of it.
They've abandoned the military.
We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
And they're not just allowing Putin to interfere in our elections, they're encouraging it.
The Russia hoax is finally dead.
Russia, if you're listening.
And the Republicans are admitting it. Comer took Russian disinformation to use against Biden, and even their own party called BS.
He told Julia Yaffe, quote, "I think Russian propaganda has made its way into the United States, unfortunately, and it's infected a good chunk of my party's base."
So the new formula for the Republican Party looks like this. Attack seniors, women.
Trump is a sexual predator.
There has to be some form of punishment.
Minorities, the military, and cops, and use Pouty Fugwinkle to spread the insanity to the MAGA base.
He wants President Biden to take a drug test.
But claiming Biden is eating energy pills and washing it down with Mountain Dew is nuts. And that's why Trump won't debate Biden. They're not allowing a crowd, so when Tiny Fingers claims something was rigged or stolen or whatever his brainworm commands him to say,
in his brain that had eaten part of his brain and then died,
his tribal support system won't be there.
The greatest president in United States history.
No Bobert hand claps or Dairy Queen back rubs.
I want to be a dictator.
Trump will appear to be exactly what he is, a cognitive collapse on a world stage. They'll turn his mic off and he'll melt down like an ice cream cone in August. And Biden, he'll say smart things that independents and blue dog Democrats understand.
So we have a special obligation. We cannot let what happened here be lost in the silence of the years to come. We must remember it, must honor it, and live it. And we must remember the fact that they were heroes here that day does not absolve us from what we have to do today.
If you're a Republican, what you just heard might sound like a foreign language. That's because it's sanity, something Trump is clearly incapable of articulating.
I believe in hate speech. When you have hate for somebody, I am 100% into speech.
So sometime in the next couple weeks, Trump will claim the debate is rigged or some other patently insane utterance because he and everyone else knows if he debates under these conditions, naked in front of the world.
That's nasty.
You get impeached, you get indicted, you get this, you get convicted of bullshit. And they say
Trump will lose, and he will lose big.
How is the president alert sometime and sometimes not so much?
Well, we do with the NFL and Major League Baseball. We find out what drugs they're on.
Performance enhancing.
Right, yeah, but usually to help your performance. Why can't we find out if the president is enhancing his performance?
So drug tests, bring it on. Joe Biden will pee in a cup, and if Trump asks real nice, he'll pee on him directly.
How weird was that briefing?
Really weird.
Damn right. This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I'm Chip Franklin.